Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 4, Chapter 23. The Rain Clouds. For the last 2 hours, you were fully immersed in the Ananda of Krishna Tattva, reality of Krishna and of Vedasara, essence of Veda, which are both the same. How grand it would be if all the moments of life you were imbibing this Ananda undisturbed. Iyengar spoke on Krishna Trishna, the thirst for Krishna. What an appropriate word that! The thirst for worldly goods can never be allayed. Trying to satisfy it makes it only more acute. Thirst can never be quenched by drinking salt water, which is the objective world. Human desire is illimitable, without end. It makes you pursue the mirage in the desert. It makes you build castles in the air. It breeds discontent and despair once you succumb to it. But develop the thirst for Krishna, you discover the cool spring of Ananda within you. Krishna Nama, name, makes you strong and steady. It is sweet and sustaining. Gauranga, the great example of this thirst, is so called because his heart was so pure that it had no touch of blemish at all. He is called Krishna Chaitanya because he lost his Chaitanya, that is, became unconscious of the world outside him, when he heard the name of Krishna and became Krishna conscious. Yearning of gopis for Krishna. Look at the gopis, milkmaids of Gokulam, and their yearning for the Lord. They never swerved from the path of bhakti, of continuous smarna, remembrance of the Lord. When in pain you shout, Ayyo, Amma or Appa, but the gopis always called on Krishna only, whether in joy or in grief. A gopi was moving along the streets of Vrindavan selling butter and ghee and milk. But she was not crying aloud the names of her ware. She was calling aloud the names of Krishna, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. The gopis forgot the very purpose of their visit to Vrindavan, their very livelihood, their task of selling and earning. They stood watching Krishna running along with a hoop and ignoring all else. They ran behind him with a ball of butter in hand, offering it to the divine child who had captured their hearts, calling on him to receive the gift, Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. When one of them was rolling on the ground in terrible anguish at the separation from Krishna, they sat around her, and instead of assuaging her grief by turning her thoughts away from Krishna, they augmented it because they themselves could not think of any other subject to talk to her other than Krishna's glory and Krishna's prema. They sat around and sang Govinda, Damodara, Madhava. Whoever has the thirst, Krishna will quench it, whoever calls on him in the agony of that thirst. Krishna, the rain cloud, will answer that call and appear. You can understand Radha, Krishna's consort, only if you can fathom the depth of that thirst. Radha believed that Krishna is the Adhar, basis. She did Arad, worship, to Krishna in a continuous dhara, stream. In fact, she is Dhara or Prakirti, which is another form of the Lord or Purusha himself. How can those who are full of evil tendencies and impulses grasp that relationship? In this Kali Yuga, the principle of prema, divine love, is not in evidence. It is smothered in jealousy, conceit, hatred, fear, falsehood, and greed. That is why it is best referred to as the Kalaha Yuga, the age of faction, marked by fights between mother and daughter, father and son, teacher and pupil, guru and guru, brother and brother. The recitation of the name of Krishna is the best method for cleansing the mind of all these evil impulses. You may ask, if we engage ourselves in this pastime, how can we earn our livelihood? Well, let me assure you, if you have pure and steady faith in the Lord, He will provide for you not merely food, but the nectar of immortality. You have that mighty potentiality in you to discover the Lord within and compel Him to grant you that nectar. Make the thirst for Krishna grow in you. When you say that Krishna was born in Gokula, then he grew up in Vrindavan, that he ruled over Mathura, and that he reigned in Dwaraka later. What do these statements signify? The Manas, mind, is the Gokula where he was born, even now to whoever takes the spiritual path. The heart is the Brindavan where he grows, where prema, divine love for him, develops. The Chit is the Mathura which he rules over, and the Nirvikalpa stage is Dwaraka where he installs himself as the reigning monarch. Make the Krishna Trishna, thirst for Krishna, grow through these stages and you will be saving yourself. You will be joining the ranks of Radha, Meera, and Sakubai, devotees of Lord Krishna. Once upon a time, we used to hear the three famous names Lal, Bal, and Pal. They were famous in the days of the national struggle. But many do not know now who they are. At least Lal and Pal have disappeared from the memory of the people. A large percentage of even educated persons will flounder if you ask them who Lal and Pal were. Bal, meaning Bhala Gandhara Tilak, is still known to many because he has made a contribution to spiritual knowledge, being a sadhaka himself, and a good student of Gita, for which he wrote a commentary. So, sadhana alone makes life worthwhile. The rest is mostly froth or fake or failure, flashes of the moment. Three principles to guide you. The mind must become bhakti maya, saturated with devotion to God. The intelligence must be transformed into jnana deepti, the splendor of universal wisdom, or jnana, divine knowledge. The body must be a willing and efficient instrument for sadharma charana, the practice of righteousness. Such a life is indeed the crown and glory of humanity. The rest are contaminated, contained, caged lives. There is no use asking a doctor to advise you about the plans for the building you propose to raise. Nor is it wise to ask the engineer for a balm to assuage pain. Go to the proper guru and learn from him about at least three principles to guide your lives. 1. Dharma. What is Dharma? Why should it be followed? What does it allow? What does it condemn? Etc. These have to be clearly known. The Gita is the best text on Dharma. The first word in it is Dharma, and the last word is Mama, mine. So it teaches each student what exactly he should consider as the Dharma which is mine. Each one must evolve his own Dharma based on Atma Dharma, the faith that the Atma, soul, is his true reality. 2. Bhakti, devotion. Bhakti is like a king who has two aides de camp called Jnana, divine knowledge, and Vairagya, non-attachment. Without these two bodyguards, Bhakti is never safe or secure. Bhakti must be built upon the foundation of Jnana. It must flower as detachment from the world. The Jnani is the Sthita Prajna, unmoved by agitating feelings and emotions, unshaken by the storms of fortune, good or bad. The Vairagi, the detached, is the person who has rid himself of the three gunas, qualities of the mind. And the Bhakta, devotee, is he who is all prema, love. Bhakti, Jnana, and Vairagya are three peaks of the same Himalayan range. Prema creates daya, compassion. Vairagya induces dharma, tolerance. And Jnana leads you along the path of dharma. Put out the fire raging within you. 3. Sadhana. When the house catches fire, you run about in desperate haste to get secure and to put out the flames. But you do not realize that the fire raging inside you is even more devastating and devouring. You must take up the duty of firefighting in right earnest and never rest until the flames are put out. Start the fight right now. Start serving your parents, your teachers, the elders, the poor, the diseased, the distressed. Do not foster factions and divisions. Do not look upon people as belonging to this state or that. All are in a state of bondage to the senses, to the objective world. Join the company of the good, the striving, the yearning, sadhakas, and you will soon reach the stage of peace within and harmony without. Madras, August 14th, 1964.